As you all know, a jam-packed day for all things heat pump water heater related. So we just finished our manufacturers roundtable, residential manufacturers roundtable. We're going to stick on the technology front for a little bit and get into some split heat pump water heaters. But before we do, we wanted to say thank you to the session sponsor for this one, the San Diego Learn program. The Learn program is a San Diego-based workforce education and training program offering free energy efficiency and electrification webinars. Check out their website at www.sandiegolearn.com. They've got incredibly good tools on every topic on electrification that you could want, and it's all free. So we'll put a link in the chat. And thank you to San Diego Learn for sponsoring this and many other webinars throughout the year. All right, so now we are going to get into split heat pump water heaters. This is a technology where the compressor is separate from the tank. It's located outdoors, and this is a common technology as we heard in our last session in other countries, but just starting to emerge in the US. So we've got a great manufacturers roundtable lined up for you, and let's introduce our moderators. John Koliner, he's the Director of Research and Innovation at Slipstream. He does so much great research, and he leads our hydronic working group at HPWH. So thanks for being on, John. And also Vidhisha Moopnar, she's a Senior Project Analyst at NBI. Thanks to you both, and I'll turn it over to you to introduce our panelists.
Thank you so much, Joe. Happy Heat Pump Water Heater Day, everyone. This is my second time being a part of this really big celebration. But honest confession, my nervous energy is still fresh and raw like the last time, but maybe just double the intensity. But yes, with all this happiness, enthusiasm, a little bit of nervous energy, we will be going through what's really brewing in the world of heat pump water heaters. We did have a really great woohoo session with residential market. Going to just take this forward a little step, but just splitting up the step in the sense. So I'm going to welcome my panelist for this Inspector Gadget split system session, starting with someone who's been spearheading this market for quite some time, John Miles, Managing Director at Ecosystems, or you better know as Sanco. John has been in this market for quite some time, as I mentioned earlier, and he was quite bored being all by himself. So a kind human being decided to step in and did a breakthrough in June 2025 with a very innovative Omni split heat pump water heaters in the market. The breakthrough was so impactful that they won the Consortium of Energy Efficiency's Integrated Home Competition Program. Let's talk about two is a great company, but then if I have like more people, wouldn't it be a party? So joining Carl and John is our next panelist, Manas Daniel from Daikin Comfort, product manager, and Robert Aldrich, who is the portfolio director at the residential water heating with A.O. Smith. They are joining this race with their new upcoming products, which we will soon see, probably by the year end or maybe the first quarter of 2026. So welcome, John, Carl, Robert, and Manas. And joining me is my fantastic co-moderator, Jonathan Koliner from Slipstream. I welcome you all to this session. And without wasting much time, we should actually get started with what's brewing with split systems. So I'd like to invite my first panelist, John Miles. Please come forward, share your screen, and teleport us to Japan. And let's come back with a split system to the US.
No, thanks, Vidhisha. Great little part of a setup there. So good morning to everybody. I'm John Miles. I'm with Eco2 Systems. We are the people that are bringing you the Sanco 2 split type heat pump water heaters. So with all of that said and done, let's jump on in here and talk about split type heat pump water heaters. So as we've listened to Vidhisha in terms of where the product realistically, I mean, we can go back and look in the 50s or whatever, but the product that we bring to you was a lot of work in the Japanese marketplace, mostly because of the way that the Japanese utilities are, in the fact that you move out of Tokyo or somewhere like that, and there is no natural gas, so everything was propane, oil, or electric, and they wanted to move to something much more environmentally friendly and also much more economic in terms of the power they were making through the nuclear power stations. So what happened is that the split type was set up. The first thing they did is actually moved, unlike all of us, to a different refrigerant, carbon dioxide. Not very common as a refrigerant. We don't use it in air conditioning and things like that. And then what we have is a split type heat pump water heater. It wasn't designed as an integrated product of heat exchanger, tank, and the heat pump attached to it. We call it an Ecological in Japan. It's been there since the early 2000s, selling about 700,000 a year nowadays. The name, and my dodgy Japanese, says Shizen Ribai Hitapumpo Kyutaki, as we call them, the Ecological in Japan, and that's where it comes from. And it means supply hot water, which is essentially what we all want to do. And you can see here how we're taking that heat or that hot water, we use the heat from outside, we bring it into the tank, we get that ambient, and we actually can really reduce our running costs over everything else. So all that happened is that what it did is it evolved itself into the fact that we brought the product as a manufacturer 2002. So it's not a technology that's brand new for us. We evolved it into the US market starting around about 2014. We finally launched it in 2016. So I've got almost 10 years in the world of a carbon dioxide split type heat pump on here. And then we have advanced it over the years. And the entertaining thing in the Japanese market is that we are supermen. We can pick which one you want me to be, whether you want me to be the tank man or I can be the pumpu. But I'm providing you the environmentally friendly heat pump, split heat pump water heater here and thing. And I've got a 6 kilowatt unit, so I'm making it bigger as well. How about that? So how does it work? Very quickly, what we see is that the tank has a temperature sensor in it. The temperature gets cold, the tank is very much stratified for us. Cold water comes into the bottom, hot water leaves at the top. Then as the tank gets cold, it goes, hey, heat pump, I don't care what the ambient temperature is outside, make me some hot water. The heat pump goes, oh, okay, time to start working, just like me today with HPWH, time to start working at about 10 o'clock, right? And then we bring in that cold water from the bottom of the tank, heat it up to 145, 150, and I put it at the back of the top of the tank. And then that's how the heat pump works until we've fully recovered the tank from the heat pump at that point in time. So that's the basic operation. There are no electric elements for us. And all of these products that you see in Japan, there are no electric elements added on these style systems. It's all heat pump all the time. So a little bit more detail in terms of the heat pump itself. Won't bother you with everything because you can see this. But what you can see on here is that I'm going to make you 145, 150 degree. My capacity is the same as an electric element. That equals about 18 to 20 gallons an hour of this 145, 150 degree hot water. I'm using the CO2. I don't care about the ambient, whether it's in the desert or it's up a mountain somewhere. We can deal with all of that. And then the heat pump can live a certain period, distance away from the tank up to 66 feet. And then power wise, 208 to 30 volt going to the heat pump, one power only for the compressor. We can talk all about how it's inverter and all of this sort of stuff. Noise level extremely low on these style systems, the 15 amp breaker on this system on here. So that's the basis of the heat pump. That's what's making your hot water. And then all we work on from there is the tank. What size? Well, we'll look at that in a little bit detail, but you can see in the residential marketplace, we sort of have 3 tanks, a 43, an 83, and a 119. I'll tell you a joke at some point in time in the Q&A or something as to how they're called 43 and 83. It's because there's a guy here that can't multiply out gallons into liters correctly and then just round it up or down on that one. So that's me for that. And then because we make you 145, 150 degree hot water, we give you a mixing valve because that's safety for everybody. And then we have the controller to do the demand response and everything that we need on these style systems. So that's one of those things that we're trying to get together for everybody on these settings. Then as I expand myself into the commercial marketplace, which we have done realistically since we arrived here, look, with the product launched in 2016, we go bigger and bigger and bigger in tanks. horizontal, vertical. We can get you sort of different layouts of how we want to do those tanks. And I go from 119 because of the ASME world all the way up to 505 gallons. So I really do get you that. And then again, we have another controller on here because what will happen is that we don't have one heat pump feeding the hot water to a 505 gallon. We have 4, 6, 8, 10, etc., all manifolded together to be able to do that, and we can control those off a separate controller that can again do demand response and all of those lovely control sections to keep the power draw down on the buildings and things like that as we've set those up. So that's our commercial tanks that we have expanded ourselves into that marketplace. So here, as you can see, is just some very sort of nice basic setup of how we do the sizing. How much hot water do you use in the house? How much hot water do we use in the commercial one? Typically, what we can look at is the number of fixtures. It's showers, it's bathtubs, it's all that lovely stuff that we work on, and or the number of people in your home as well. Then in the commercial world, we are going to work on the number of tenants, central laundry or not for these particular style systems. And then it's all about setting up the tank size to fix the system and then being able to calculate the number of heat pumps I need to recover the system, given the fact that I only want the heat pumps to not run 24/7. I want them to run a lot less time. So given the fact they make 18 to 20 gallons an hour, off we go with the number of heat pumps I want to recover my 500-gallon tank in a certain period of time. And then the piping, as we saw in the schematic I showed you, cold from the bottom of the storage tank, hot back to the top of it. And then we work a manifold if we've done a commercial particular job on these. Here's one showing 4 heat pumps. The basic setup is, though, it's all very small piping for everybody who normally gets used to using gas boilers and those sort of setups where the piping's way sized out for the water piping. We're only running 1/2 inch to the heat pumps, 3/4 inch if I've got 4 heat pumps and larger, and a little bit larger from there. So we work on all of that setup, and then we've got some things we can all work our way through. Freeze protection if it's cold outside below freezing, swing check valves, and all these additional things that we have a lot of experience putting together for all of you guys on these style systems. So we're happy to provide you piping diagrams on there, and away you can go from there. So that's really the basics of getting it set up in terms of what size heat pump or how many heat pumps you need or what size tank you're going for from the residential world up to the commercial world for us. So what that really focuses itself down to as we work our way forward on these style systems is that the heat pump typically lives outside. Does it live on a wall? Does it live on a concrete pad? It lives all over the place. It can live in your attic. Or if you'd really like it to do, and give you 100% of a thumbs up on this one, is you can air condition your garage. Because as we take heat out of the air, we deliver you cold air. So when we're recovering the tank inside of your home with the heat pump in the garage, it's giving you air conditioning in the garage, which makes it nice and easy to be able to go and do a lot of things out there for yourself if you want to spend your weekends out there and do those. Tanks can live in closets. There's no ventilation. There's no additional space required. They don't need to breathe. They don't need anything. They just need to sit around and carry your water. So as you can see, you can pop them into nice closets and things like that and hide them away for yourselves. So then what we do is we just expand that world into the commercial. 2, 8, 34, 36 I've got them on that one there, and then the tank size, just as we said, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And again, the heat pumps live in that particular same setup of this. Mounting them, whether we've stacked them, we put them in a horizontal, we mounted up on a wall, and the tanks again, mechanical rooms, basements, all of that, or even live up on the roof for us on these particular side of things. So that's the setup for us, is that we're very variable, and that's the great thing about a split type heat pump water heater. You don't have to worry about ventilation for a tank or a heat pump. Integrated heat pump water heater, you just put the heat pump outside. Noise level for us is 37 dB, extremely quiet. So we've got everything moving along for you. So thanks for listening to me. If you really want to come and talk to me as the tank man or the pumpu, here's my contact information as we do that. And I will say thank you so much to Vidhisha for hosting this, and I will pass it back over to her. Have a great one.
Thank you so much, John. We do have some questions for you, so stay with us. We will take that up
What
in the
questions? Surely not.
You have to answer questions, John. You can't just really get away that easy. But yes, let's welcome our next panelist and your very good friend, Carl Uthe from Ecological. Carl, congratulations for the award that you have won for your innovative product. And I'm sure there are multiple factors that were involved. But I think the most amazing thing that I find about the product is the different configurations that it is available in. So drive us through what is all about the Ecological Omni split heat pump water heaters.
All right, thank you very much. Let me just swap my screen so you see the proper screen, which I think I just did it the wrong way.
It works fine, Carl.
Yeah, well, you know, you have me pressed for 10 minutes, so now I'm all discombobulated. All right, let's see. Okay, I think you can see the proper screen now. Thank you very much for letting us join. We really want to be part of this. Heat Pump Water Heater Day is really important for us. We've done our best.
Sorry
Yes.
to interrupt. You're still on the, you'll have to swap your slide.
Oh, sorry. How's that?
Yes, that works perfectly fine. Thank you so much.
Oh, perfect. Sorry. All right. Yeah, thank you for letting us join. I'm going to go through this as fast as I can because rehearsal was 13 minutes and I have to be 10 minutes. But thank you, Vidhisha, for having us here and also acknowledging the award we won from Consortium for Energy Efficiency. We're pretty happy with that. And just really quick, Ecological is a smaller manufacturer, but we've been in this industry forever. We've been here since the 80s, frankly, and we've brought innovations to the market like the Smart Strip and an Ecological line of water-saving shower heads and aerators. But we also brought some experience from overseas with water heating, and we offer an integrated tower. We also have the split system, which we're here to talk about. And I want to thank John because he's making my job easy. He kind of laid out all the benefits of a split system, so I can just focus pretty much on our technology. As John said, it's simple. It's the heat pump goes outside, and you know, the tank goes inside. It sits in there nice and quiet, doesn't need to vent. It doesn't need to, you don't have to worry about condensate drain, and you don't worry about noise. Everything goes outside. And where we're different than the Sanco 2 is we have a heat pump that's outside that uses the ambient air, and we superheat refrigerant, and we run refrigerant through the wall rather than water like the other system on the market. We have 3 models of the Omni, and the Omni comes in a 50-gallon 120 volt, a 50-gallon 240 volt, and a 80-gallon 240 volt. And we not only meet Energy Star 5.0, but we really exceed the standards. We also meet Energy Star 1.2 for advanced communications, NEA Tier 3 and Tier 4, UL listed, and we meet AHRI 1430 for EcoPort and demand response. And of course, we're California JA13 compliant, so you can easily set time of use in our units. And we already talked about the award a little bit. Just a quick highlight on some of the efficiencies. So if you look at our 120 volt 50 gallon, we're really happy. Energy Star was calling for a 2.2 on split systems, so we hit a 3.3. And Energy Star was also calling for 2.2 on a 120 volt system, and we hit 3.3. But where we're really proud is our 50 gallon 240 volt, and we kind of crushed it there, 4.23 UEF and 4.11 on the 80 gallon. In our seasonal coefficient of performance, NEA sets some pretty rigid standards, and we're happy to say that our 120 volt meets 2.9, and the 240 volts are 3.7 on the seasonal coefficient. First hour ratings are 50, 57, and 82. And there's cool things you can do with heat pump water heaters, which we didn't talk a lot about on the last session, but you can actually bump up the temperature. You can get better first hour ratings. depending on your the household you're serving. And that's part of the contractor and installer and plumber education. It's really important to help people really set the proper size for the needs of the home. And we do use a R513A refrigerant, which we could talk about later, but we went global warming potential on that. This is just a quick look, just a fast snapshot of a typical water heater you'd find, say, in a mobile home or a small home or a multifamily unit, about 36 gallons at the national average of 14 cents, costs that customer about $500 a year to run. Where if you use our 120 volt with 46 gallons, giving them much more water than they had before, or even our 240 volt, you're saving them quite a bit of money. And when you look at the difference in the KWH, it's really a no-brainer when it comes to electrification and efficiency. And some of the benefits of not just the Omni, but of split systems in general. The beauty of split systems is you avoid having to have an army of people to move your heat pump water heater around. I mean, everybody knows they can weigh up around 300 pounds because there's a heat pump right at the top of the tank. With a split system, it's a little easier to maneuver. And in fact, we even have handles on our tank, not pictured here. But the tank itself is about 130 pounds. The heat pump itself is about 65 pounds. So it's much easier to move around. You don't have to worry about venting, condensate. You don't have to worry about sound. Everything is put outside, and we're at 49 decibels outside, but I swear that's wrong because when we're out there, you cannot hear that thing. It's impressive. No panel upgrades when you're using the 120 volt system. Yes, you do have to run a dedicated line, but it allows you to avoid panel upgrades in warmer climates. And we also offer video training and live training, and also live support for installers. And a bonus with split systems, this is one for you, John, that you can use in your stuff. You can lay our tanks down, which is really, really helpful. With an integrated tower, they're difficult to transport sometimes. But with a split system, you can lay the tank down carefully, of course. And this is more of the benefits, just kind of showing a mobile home and showing basically any small home. When you try to put an integrated tower in a small space, you do create some issues. In this case, maybe this person would hear it in their bedroom. It might cool down the kitchen too much. There's just problems. You have to deal with the condensate. And if you try to vent in a small space, you're just sucking in air that's not conditioned. So depending on where the climate is, sometimes that's a benefit, but oftentimes it's not. Our tank on the 50 gallon is very skinny. It's 18.5 inches in diameter, really made for those tight spaces for ADUs and multifamily. And, conventional homes, we're not shying away from conventional homes. That's why we have an 80 gallon as well. We really believe that split systems are the future of heat pump water heating, and the North American market will just need to catch up to us. More benefits. We have two models of this product. One, we consider it a pro plumber's model. It comes with a pre-charged heat pump, pre-charged tank, and pre-charged line set, which means you don't have to have an EPA 608 certification to install our product. This makes it very plumber friendly. And the line set from the OEM line set is 16 feet. And if you need longer, you can extend it with a union and a 12-foot extension that's pre-charged as well for up to 28 feet. But the cool part is for the pro contractors, you can just take these service valve adapters off, and there's standard flare fittings for HVAC equipment right below it. So then you can run the line set up to 33 feet. And remember, we're using R513A with a low GWP of 570. This is just kind of a little dissected view of our system, the EcoConnect line set. What makes it really cool, what makes it resealable, is that we have hermetically sealed threads. These are very tight tolerances. That's where the leak won't happen because they're so tight. But if you needed to service the heat pump, you could put the tank into electric resistance mode and turn off the service valves and disconnect the refrigerant lines, and you lose no refrigerant. And then when you either replace it, repair it, and put it back, you just reconnect and open the service valves again. And again, you've lost no refrigerant. Every model we have that includes a mixing valve. So it's very important. We're involved in all these programs for demand response or preloading for time of use are important. So we want to make sure that if we're going to heat up to 150, 155 degrees, that the water coming out is going to be safe. So we put in a premium thermostatic mixing valve so the water can come out at the right temperature. And just a little fun fact, the 120 volt model comes from factory at 140 degrees. That's how we achieve our setting or our performance numbers. And the 240 volt comes factory set at 125 to achieve those incredible numbers like the 4.23 UEF we have. But in any case, we know the customer can turn it up with the app or the keypad. So it's important that we install a mixing valve with it. And for all these parts, we need smarts. And with the smarts, the Ecological app allows the customer to set their product in the eco mode, turbo mode, electric resistance mode, hybrid mode, and vacation mode. And a quick footnote on the electric resistance mode, per NIA standard, they call for after 72 hours, it goes back to the default mode, which is a hybrid. We set it to 48 hours. So if a customer sticks this thing in electric resistance mode or in turbo mode or turbo mode where the elements are on, it does go back to efficiency mode, which is really important. And for time of use, it couldn't be easier. You select your state, you select your utility, and you select the time of use schedule you're looking for. And beyond that, you can customize it to load up before the event, or you could say what mode you want it to operate in before the event. We try to make this simple. The QR code's on our equipment. Customer can take a picture of it. It takes them to the warranty. And as all these heat pump water heater manufacturers know, it's a 10-year warranty, 1 year parts, or excuse me, 10-year parts, 1 year labor. Or a customer can call us direct and we'll help them out getting registered. And for the installers, we want to make it just as easy for them. So if they have any programs coming up or they want training, we're happy to do a web training or a live training if it's required. We have live installer support just by calling us. And we have tier 1 support. And if they can't help you, we connect you with our master plumbers and our HVAC technicians. They're on deck during normal business hours. You're not going to find them at 3 in the morning, but you will find them when you need them. And again, the cool advantage about having separate units is you can service them separately. And right now we're doing a swap in, swap out program. If there's a tank issue, you swap out the tank. If there's a heat pump issue, you swap out the heat pump. But in time, as our install partners get more familiar with our technology, we will do smaller individual components, and a split system is so much easier to service because the heat pump's outside. Eco distribution, we are very different. We like to work with alternative distribution as well as traditional distribution, but you'll find us working with people like General Pacific or American Electric or Keller Supply or Bits Limited, who will ship contractor packs across the country. We're not limited to legacy plumbing houses, so that kind of makes us a little more interesting. And if it's a contractor that's installing a lot of heat pump water heaters, they can even work with us direct. We're not afraid to do that with you. The motivation for the Omni, there's a lot. We designed it for every home. It's everything everywhere. That is Omni. It's for conventional homes. It's for small homes. But where we really saw heat pump water heaters lacking were mobile homes and small multifamily and ADUs. They were getting left out on this revolution of heat pump water heaters. And from our experience in other countries and understanding what's happening in Asia and Australia and New Zealand and the UK, they primarily use split systems. And we thought, this is crazy that they're not here in North America. So we focused on that. And again, we do have a tower as well, but that was really where we wanted to go. We want to be part of the solution to get everybody to be able to be on the revolution of heat pump water heaters. And just in honor of Heat Pump Water Heater Day, we did launch our calculator. So if you go to our website, you can see what each one of our models can do for you compared to tankless gas, tankless electric, and standard electric water heaters and standard gas water heaters. Pretty cool calculator that Volt Hub helped us develop. And with that, this is the 3 monkeys that will usually help you, Carl, Scott, and Rod. Grab that if you want our information, and that's it. I'll give it back to you, Vidhisha.
Thank you so much, Carl. That was very detailed on all the product specifications. And congratulations once again. We do have some questions for you in the chat. I would encourage you to have a look at them, but we'll take them up during our panel discussion round.
Okay.
And on that note, I will now invite my next panelist, Robert. Robert, whenever someone looks at a heat pump water heater, they usually say, oh boy, but I heard you say low boy. So now you will have to walk us through what this whole a low boy split heat pump water heater, and did you also say CO2? So really curious to know what this product is all about. Over to you.
Yes, happy Heat Pump Water Heater Day, everyone. Really glad to be here with you. I've been at A.O. Smith for 25 years, and I've been involved in our heat pump products since the beginning of our first development that started in 2007. So really happy the way that this technology has progressed and happy to be here to present today, especially to give everyone a preview of our new A.O. Smith Voltex X CO2 heat pump split heat pump water heater. So just an overview of what our product is that's coming. We have the CO2 heat pump unit. A.O. Smith has partnered with Panasonic in Japan. I think John did a great job explaining what the Japanese market is like and the EcoCute units that they've sold there. Panasonic has been there for over a decade with this type of unit. So it has proven performance and reliability. And then we brought it over to the US market with some minor changes to meet the US certification requirements. And then partnering with Panasonic, it's really easy for A.O. Smith to offer a storage tank family. So we've created a family of dedicated tanks to pair with this unit that are produced in the US and have simple operation with our A.O. Smith ICOM mobile app. So the water split unit is what we're using. So we're making this very simple for plumbers to install by being able to connect up to 66 feet of half-inch piping between the two units. The heat pump unit itself is rated for 208, 240 volt operation. And then the storage tanks, which have its own control on there for demand response, time of use, connectivity, and communication between the heat pump and the tank, is a 120 volt plug-in. So we really think that this line is important to expand our Voltex line of heat pumps that we have today, launching in mid-December of this year, so coming very soon. But we think it's important to have this line available as we expand the market and have more offerings available to meet the needs of the NECA transition that's going to happen in 29 when 40 and 50 gallon electric units are obsoleted. How it works, again, John did a great job explaining how the CO2 systems work and how they're connected. Obviously, these are single pass units that are doing full heating through the unit in one pass and delivering hot water to the top of the tank. This is a 4.5 kilowatt output residential model. So again, no need for backup element. There is no backup element in the tanks. There's plenty of capacity and output on these units. And the COP unit itself has up to a 5.6 COP. Bigger operating range for these heat pumps. We talked about this earlier with cold climate applications. So putting this unit outside, you're still going to get plenty of hot water operating between minus 25 to 109 degrees Fahrenheit. And then overall better for the environment. So talking about how refrigerants are being used and lower GWPs. So using CO2 that has a GWP of 1 and 0 ozone depletion. And since it's an A1 refrigerant, is non-toxic and non-flammable. And then obviously these units being Energy Star will qualify for many state and local and utility rebates. And then having such a low GWP will also qualify for bonus incentives that are offered. So one of the things that we also did was make a flexible configuration. So you can see that we made a wide variety of tanks. And as Vidhisha said, one of the things that we're really looking at is being able to replace all existing electric and gas water heaters that are in place today. And this includes the 50-gallon lowboy that we see in multifamily installations where there's a mechanical closet and the unit is installed under an air handler. So having that low footprint unit really helps with these space constrained applications. So these units are all top water inlet and outlet connections with the side connect for the heat pump loop. Quietest operation, we're operating between 35 and 40 dBA based on the load and the temperatures, and 0 inside the home. So the heat pump is outside where the noise is happening, and inside where the tank is at, you get rid of some of the issues with cold air or noise that we have with traditional integrated units. And then we're also offering multiple accessories to customize installation. So whether you're installing on the ground, on the side of a building, or on a rooftop, we have those options covered. So just a couple other key specs that we have on this unit. We're standardly heating this unit 140 degrees out of the box, taking advantage of the high efficiency that the CO2 system offers, or it can be set to 150 degrees. And for that, we're offering a mixing valve kit with flex connectors for easy installation to temper that down to 120 degrees. And for demand response applications for things like add-in load up. The heat pump and tank units are connected with the RS-485 communication cable that comes standard with the units. And the tanks are standard with 150 PSI temperature relief valve for best-in-class max operating pressures. As far as ratings will go on these units, not final and listings haven't been made yet, but UEFs will be listed up to 3.75 on these units, with our first hour ratings ranging from 71 gallons to 100 gallons between our 50 and 80 gallon tank options. And these units have active freeze protection with heat pump operation and circulation for when for extra cold areas, it'll take care of itself. And then these units are NEA Tier 3 and JA13 qualified and are ETL certified. So similar to what John had said, coming in early 2026, we're also going to be offering a 6 kilowatt commercial heat pump with the ability to connect up to 32 units and can be connected to one or more of A.O. Smith's heat pump storage tanks, which we build up to 850 gallons today for a wide variety of commercial applications. And then my last slide, just want to show some of the details that make a difference. We also include a guest mode on this unit and many of our other smart heat pump water heaters, where we include the mixing valve to be able to add the temperature up to 160 degrees for even more hot water delivery for up to 7 days, which is controlled by the controller on the unit. The unit has leak detection, so we can see if there's a leak, and there's an optional water shutoff valve that's available to add to the tank. Demand response time of use ready. I talked about the ICOM smart connectivity through the A.O. Smith app. And then one of the other things that we're adding as an extra optional accessory is an anti-freeze valve kit. So this would be freeze protection for areas where there may be power outages like ice storms, etc. So A.O. Smith is got a national sales and distribution network, industry-leading customer support, and large accessory offering to make this quick and easy for all installers and homeowners. So really excited about this new offering that's coming, and I want to thank AWHI for the opportunity to present today.
Thank you so much, Robert. That was really amazing. Of the lowboy split heat pump water heaters, we do have some questions for you in the chat. I would encourage you to answer them while we invite our next panelist. So the weather here in Atlanta is a bit chilly right now. So a hot water shower is helpful, but if your living space is also warm, it is even more helpful. But I'm so confused. I really don't know what product to look for. So Manas, please help me find this one product that can solve all my problems. Domestic hot water, space heating, or sometimes cooling maybe in summer. So over to you, Manas. Let's talk about the split system, but in a different way. Add to water maybe?
Awesome. Sorry. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Yeah,
Loud
perfect.
and please go ahead.
Okay. Thanks everybody for joining in, and thanks to AWHI for the opportunity. My name is Manas Daniel, and I'm excited to talk to you all about Daikin's upcoming product for water heating, which is the Daikin Ultima 3H HT, an add-water heat pump that operates like a heat pump water heater, but with the add-on benefit of providing space heating and cooling as well. A quick introduction on the product itself. So the Daikin Ultima 3H HT is an add-water heat pump system designed to be a modern and highly efficient solution for heating, cooling, and domestic hot water, making it a 3-in-1 solution, hydronic solution. And you can think of it as a greener and more sustainable way to replace fossil fuel heating systems like gas and oil boilers and furnaces. It's designed to be quiet, efficient, and reliable all year around, and providing superior levels of comfort. It fits into a wide range of applications for the retrofit and new construction market. We use our own patented compressor technology and R32S refrigerant for best-in-class seasonal efficiency. It's also got a low GWP of 675 compared to other standard refrigerants and lower CO2 emissions as well. So for homeowners, that's just not about sustainability. It's also about comfort, reliability, and performance in a wide range of applications, even at low ambient conditions. Okay, so this heat pump is what we call a hydro split system. So meaning all the refrigerant is contained within the outdoor unit itself, and no refrigerant work is required on site. It can be used in multiple hydronic applications for new buildings, retrofits, and low energy houses with a wide range of heat emitter options like baseboards, radiators, radiant heating, heat pump convectors, and hydronic air handlers as well. It's got a maximum leaving water temperature of up to 160 Fahrenheit and can even operate down to an ambient of -18 F. The sound pressure of the system is 38 dBA under standard sound mode and can also go down to 35 dBA. So that's somewhere between birds chirping and a quiet library. So as the heat pump can produce high leaving water temperatures of up to 160 Fahrenheit, this would fit as an ideal boiler replacement solution. But it's also important to ensure that the existing heat emitters are sufficient to meet the heating loads, as boilers generally operate at very high temperatures of about 180 Fahrenheit, which is not always required. And this high temperature heat pump would be sufficient to serve your existing heat emitters. A quick layout of how the system comes together. So you've got the outdoor unit over here, the indoor unit or a hydro box, and the domestic hot water tank, and then your hydronic distribution. These can be existing radiators or baseboards or the Daikin heat pump convectors. And there's also the option to integrate hydronic air handlers for ducted applications, which is perfect for new build construction. And the key takeaway of this system is basically flexibility. So no matter the home setup, there's always a configuration that works. And since the refrigerant is contained within the outdoor unit itself, there's no risk of a refrigerant leakage inside the house. So for existing homes with radiators and baseboard, these would typically operate at about 150 to 160 Fahrenheit, which gives you a standard efficiency and a COP of just over 2. For an enhanced efficiency, you could use an air handler or the convectors, which would typically operate between 120 to 130 Fahrenheit, and these could do both heating and cooling as well. Or for an advanced efficiency, you could use radiant floor heating systems, which would operate at really low water temperatures between 90 to 100 Fahrenheit for heating operation, and would give you COPs of over 4 to 5. So when the heat pump is in space heating mode, the heat pump produces hot water, which is passed to your indoor unit and then pumped into a 3-way motorized valve. And then depending on the operation mode, if it is in space heating mode, it would go into your heat emitters, or if it is in domestic hot water mode, it would go into the tank and heat up the tank. So this is an indirect tank with a heat exchanger in it. And similarly for cooling operations, so the heat pump would operate in reverse. It would circulate chilled water through the system and goes into your convectors or the hydronic air handler of here. Okay, so the hydro split concept. So with the Ultima 3H HT, all the refrigerant is contained within the out unit itself. It's a sealed refrigerant circuit. You've got your heat exchangers, the compressor, expansion vessel, expansion valve, and all other refrigerant components built into the out unit itself. So it's only water that goes in and out of the unit. So meaning no risk for refrigerant leakage, and there is no refrigerant that goes inside the house. A few slides on the product lineup that we will be introducing to the market early next year. So we've got the outdoor unit available in two models, 36,000 or 43,000 BTUs. And we've got one standard indoor unit, which is the hydro box, what we call it, with all the hydronic components built into it, like the circulating pump, an expansion vessel, a backup heater. So that's a 6 kilowatt backup heater. And the controls are also built into the hydro box. Domestic hot water tank that we will be bringing to market is going to be available in three sizes, 40, 50, and 80 gallons. And this will come with a 3 kilowatt immersion heater or a booster heater built into the tank itself. The Daikin One Lite smart thermostat will also be made compatible with the Ultima system, and this is Wi-Fi compatible too. So you could use this with the Daikin One mobile app to control your heating and hot water. The heat pump convectors. So these are Daikin heat pump convectors available in two models. So we've got a floor standing or a low wall mounted unit, and we also have a high wall mounted heat pump convector. Both of these are available in three capacities, 3,000, 5,000, and 7,000 BTUs. The floor standing model comes with a built-in controller, whereas the high wall mounted comes with an infrared remote controller. And both of these are also capable of piping through the left or through the right-hand side of the unit itself, which gives flexibility in installation. The other component of here that we will also be providing is the hydronic air handler, which will be available in 4 capacities ranging from 24 to 60,000 BTUs. To talk a bit on the target applications where you could use the Daikin Ultima 3H HT heat pump, number one, boiler replacement. So if you've got existing heat emitters like a baseboard or radiator, you could just directly swap out your boiler for the Daikin Ultima heat pump, and that would give you your space heating and hot water too from the heat pump. Now, if you want to add in cooling requirement to it, so you could add in heat pump convectors, which would typically replace maybe a window AC unit or mini splits. And now you've got just one single system that's doing your heating, cooling, and hot water. You could also use it with existing radiant heating systems, underflow heating systems for heating. And likewise, if you want to add in cooling, you could add in heat pump convectors to the rooms that you need cooling, which would typically replace your window AC units or mini splits, and you would get in your heating, cooling, and hot water. Or if you want to replace your entire existing hydronic loop, you could do that with maybe heat pump convectors throughout, and you could get in heating, cooling, and hot water. For gas furnace, gas water heater replacement, so you could replace a gas furnace or a hydro air system with the hydronic air handler now for central ducted applications, and you could remove the AC units and replace your domestic hot water tank with the Daikin tank, and you would now get your space heating, cooling, and domestic hot water. For new construction, you are pretty much flexible in using any type of emitter that you need, be it radiant heating systems or heat pump convectors or a combination of both. You could mix and match. It's really flexible. Or for ducted applications, you could use a central hydronic air handler that would serve for all the zones and would give you your heating and cooling as well. quick 5 points to summarize on the Daikin
Sorry
Ultima
to
3H.
interrupt, Manas. You'll have to wrap it up a little quickly because we are almost on
Yes.
time. Thank you.
Yes, this is the last slide. This is the quick 5 summary points. And number 1, it's a 3-in-1 hydronic solution for heating, cooling, and hot water. High leaving water temperatures of up to 160 Fahrenheit, making it an ideal boiler replacement solution. Ultra low sound down to 35 dBA and operates down to an ambient of -18 F as well, and environmentally friendly with R32 as the refrigerant. That's it from my side. Back to you, Vidhisha. Thank you.
So much, Manas. Now I'll invite my co-moderator, John, for a quick rapid fire panel session.
Yeah, we may only have time for one question. I'm going to ask one that's been on my mind. So these are all relatively new systems for a plumber or an HVAC installer, especially in the US. How are each of you rolling out training to ensure that the workforce is ready for these systems?
I can jump in probably because I got it. So, I mean, we do training both in person. We actually have demo units piped up and set up, and we run them on the systems. We also do online training, you know, the good old fashioned, you know, meeting where we just roll through and show people what we've got there. So we've been doing a lot, you know, training since we launched in 2016. So it works out really very well. And you get a lot of contractors that really do, you know, see the benefits of the split system. You know, they'll go install other heat pump water heaters as well, but they see the benefits for certain applications and really push at it. And once they get it going, they see how fairly simple it is to actually do. It's 2 boxes, and you basically join them together. I use the old adage of it's a jigsaw puzzle. You know, you just put the pieces together and off you go.
Yeah, John, I'm going to echo what the other John said and say that for all of our new product launches, we do in-person and online training sessions. I think the plumbers overall, once they understand the basics of the product and how the system goes together, none of what we're asking them to do is new or special for what they've done and what they've experienced before. So it's really just making sure they understand the specific product and how this is going together in the ways that they can troubleshoot and service. But between an array of live on-site or online through our hot water university, plenty of product training available that anyone can go and look up anytime.
Great, thanks. I think I need to now pass it on to move along.
Yes, thank you, John. I will pass it on to Joe.
Thanks so much, Vidhisha. Thanks, John. Thanks all the Johns on that session. That was amazing.